Hello and welcome to your newspaper review on Adair Television. You know what time it is? It's time to review some newspaper. It's time to dive into newspaper headlines as well as tech stories that is reaching the lips of us all, Nigerians as well as Africans and the world at large. And I am not alone. I am in the house with our able barrister, the law, according to me, aka the law. Barrister Damisi, welcome again.
Yes, thank you for having me once again. My pleasure being here as usual.
I always say it, that your presence, there's this joy and light it brings to us. You see that there's a Lego person here actually trying to review some newspaper headlines with us so that we could not fall, we will not fall out of track when it comes to Lego decisions. Help us make better decisions. Thank you very much for gracing us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And to all our viewers out there, do stay glued to your screen. If you're at home, you're on your way to work, or you're already at work like us, we are working presently, do stay glued to your screen even as we'll be reviewing some newspaper headlines. But before we go into our newspaper headlines, I would want us to go into our tech news. And the first tech news we'll be looking at is the Microsoft scale back at Chinese access to cyber early warning system. We see that Microsoft has reduced Chinese companies' access to its cybersecurity early warning system following suspicions that the recent wave of hacking attempts on its widely used SharePoint servers may have been linked to the information leak. We also see that the move comes after a multiple attack of last month, which some experts attribute to Beijing, raising concern that the details shared through Microsoft Active Protection Program (MAPP) were misused. The program is designed to alert security vendors worldwide and also include those in China about vulnerabilities before they are publicly disclosed. Okay, so when I actually looked at this particular news, I started asking myself questions like, I had to start researching and checking. You know, we know that Microsoft is not owned by one person. It's a global ownership, online this thing, access point for people who would be doing their documents and all of that, for companies and for people, individuals. Now, when I checked it, I saw that most shares were owned by the United States residents. And I also checked who actually look at their cyber security and all of that, and they also come from United States. And this problem we've been seeing from the United States and the Chinese people, it now raises a questions like are they really doing this because from the news, obviously they've not been able to hold them for anything yet. They've not had concrete evidence to hold the Chinese people yet, but they are assuming and they are taking decision on their assumption. It now asks us, it brings us to that question that are they doing this because of or because of the really
like I used to say that China and the USA, they are competitors. You know, one will always try to seek advantage over the other. You know, in the Western world, in the world in general today, you always compete with other people. I know not too long ago we discussed about this SharePoint, hacking, and we're talking about data privacy, data security, and all of that. But Microsoft now, they've come out to say that it's the Chinese people that they are assuming it's the Chinese people that are doing it, and they are trying to reduce or limit access of the Chinese into their systems and all of that. So China and USA, they will always want to take advantage of each other. Any sign of weakness. Microsoft, like you said, is a US-based tech giant, and they have a lot of information as to companies, as to individuals, and once China can lay hold of, what do they call it, of people's data or companies' data, it's an advantage to them. So they are saying Chinese hackers are the ones that are doing this. That's what Microsoft is saying. And so they are trying to put a stop to this hacking from the Chinese, so that the Chinese won't have an undue advantage, stealing their private documents, stealing their private information and making use of it for their own benefit. So for now, you can just say, hope Microsoft does the best thing, because, let people's data and people's privacy needs to be protected at all times and with all measures. So if they are saying the Chinese people are the ones doing this, they should go ahead and try and limit access to the Chinese. You know, there are also instances where the Chinese will come out to say Americans are trying to hack our companies, Americans are trying to hack our systems and all. So there will always be that back and forth. Russia, China, US, European nations, you know. The only people that that don't really care is Africa, you know. Yeah, us here in Africa.
No,
Whether they hack us, they hack our system or not, we don't really send anybody. Because data privacy is not really has not really grown to that level yet. And you know, we don't really have big tech companies that
Yes.
are like Microsoft and all.
But
You
this
know?
is like a callback for us as Africans to actually start looking into, because this
Yeah, we need to
that will
take
not be
data
left out
privacy
from this.
we need to take data privacy seriously. I remember there was a time where we had a report of North Korean hackers hacking into our governmental systems, taking information, stealing from our banks and all of that. So we need to take data privacy seriously. You know, it's not just an individual thing. Now, nations are taking data privacy seriously. You know, you could see when Donald Trump was calling for the head of companies, maybe they are
Yes.
Chinese and all of that. It tells, look, this is a US-based company. You cannot be doing this with China and all of that and the rest of the world. So Africa too, we need to take data privacy seriously. And I know with time, we'll develop strong systems and strong mechanisms to be able to take data privacy, to stand against hackers and cyber attacks and all.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Still in the warnings for hacking and all of that, we see that the FBI has warned the Russian hackers targeting the U.S. critical infrastructure. We see that the FBI and Cisco, yes, have revealed that hackers linked to Russian Federal Security Service (FSB) have been exploiting a 7-year-old vulnerability in the outdated Cisco software to branch thousands of networking devices tied to critical infrastructure. The attackers, identified as part of the FSB's Center 6 cyber unit, have been collecting devices, configuration files, and of masses in a move to exportory, says, to enable long-term access or resilience or operations that might align with Russian strategic interests. Okay, I think this one they've confirmed it.
Yes.
You know, like I said in the other news, that one they didn't actually confirm it.
Yeah,
So their fight, or like say their decision of now limiting some Chinese country wasn't really, for me it looks like you're trying to tell me I did something that you've not confirmed, that I did yet.
Yeah.
And there are shareholders in Microsoft that are also Chinese,
Yeah.
there are Chinese people and all of that. But here we have the FBI trying to warn US people, and like you mentioned, that's just shows that it's not only China that is after.
No, it's not only
the
China.
US.
It's
US should not be scared of only China, but they should also think about other people that are actually looking for them. And Russia is one of the countries that they found.
No, just like I said, each country is trying to take advantage of the other country. So any sign of weakness in your tech space, in your economy, in your military, they will always seek to take advantage. You know, the FSB is the spy agency for Russia. You know, from the KGB they transform into the FSB. You know, so when the spy agency is beginning to look for ways to hack into your tech space, and you know that they found the weakness, just as you identified in the news, while reading the news, you know, they found the weakness and they tried to take advantage of it. So the FBI coming out to warn its citizens, that's the Americans, and telling them that, look, we found this, they are trying to hack into our systems and all of that. It shows that they are on top of the game too. The Americans, they are not slacking as to protection of their citizens' data and privacy. They don't want a situation whereby the Russians will have access to information that is not supposed to be with them, and you know, use this information to cause havoc or cause harm. You know, like I've always said, and I've said here, say every nation in the world, in geopolitics world, is dog eats dog. You know, everybody is fighting to take advantage of each other. If you are not cooperating, even when you have people that you are cooperating with, you still need to be careful, because every nation, imagine if the Russians are able to perfect their attack and, you know, take away billions of dollars, transfer it maybe to Russian banks, and now, you know, Russia is under heavy sanctions from the US and the rest of the world. So them, they are kind of like in a survival mode. They are looking for ways to make money, to get the economy improving and all of that. So one of the ways that they found is to hack into tech space, because this is not the first time the Russians are doing it. They've copied this is not the first time they're trying to do it. They've copied from North Korea's playbook, hacking into other countries' systems, trying to take advantage of the lapses in their systems and see how maybe they can get people's information, get companies' information, transfer funds to their own banks, and improve the lives of their people. Yeah.
Okay, we also see that the FBI and Cisco has warned organizations to update or replace outdated systems to prevent these spying or attackers from hacking your particular company's information. So, like we're saying, it's very important. It's good that the warning came before it actually started having a significant issue or a significant outplay on this company. Thank God for that. The fact that the warning came early, and the fact that the government is not taking the warning like they are taking proper actions to it. I think that's different. I do not really, I'm trying my best not to dive or try to relate this to Africa or Nigeria in particular. But let's dive into our first newspaper headline. We're looking at the Punch newspaper front page, where we see that the big headline that Wike Makinde with threatens high stake PDP convention in page 2. You know, when I saw this particular news, I actually wanted to just leave this news because I really do not want to make my own comment. But anyway, we see that the PDP has planned a national convention in Ibadan, Oyo State, in November 2025, and is facing a potential disruption due to the rift between the FCT Minister Nsom Wike and the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, among other unresolved internal party issues. Wike opposes the convention, citing the disruption over party position in the South-South and the South-East zones, including the status of Ali Odefa as South-East Vice Chairman and Dan Obiha as South-South Vice Chairman. He has threatened that the convention could trigger fresh crisis if their issues are not resolved.
It's, you know, one thing, the PDP, I don't know if they are an opposition party anymore, like they are a strong opposition party, because I don't understand. Yes, Wike is a minister under the present administration, you know, under the APC, the All Progressive Congress, and he's still claiming rights in the opposition party in PDP. So it makes me bewildered and all that. How can a man who is a minister under the present federal administration be fighting for space in the opposition party? And the so-called opposition party has not even been able to push the Wike out, you know. So Makinde, who is the governor of Oyo State, he wants to claim ownership of the party. He wants to be the Jagaban of PDP. While Nyesom Wike is still saying, look, although I might be a minister under APC, I want to be the one in charge, you know. And the PDP now, they are between two choices, two people to make their choices. Who do we follow as the leader? Do we follow Makinde or do we follow Nyesom Wike? So, but me, Nigerian politics can sometimes be very funny.
Very, very.
I mean, a minister under the present administration is claiming that he wants to be the leader of the opposition party. So that means what you are saying is that there will be no opposition to the, you won't stand as an opposition to the president in 2027 election.
He came out to actually confess his allegiance, and he specifically said that his allegiance is to President Tinubu's administration for 2027 election. This is somebody who has agreed. That's why I'm actually saying I do not want to make a comment on this particular. This is somebody who has agreed on his allegiance, he doesn't hide it. You know, we know Wike as somebody that doesn't hide his his intentions. He will not hide it. He will tell you as it is.
As it is. And the PDP still left him to be in the party. They've not expelled him. They still leave him. Oh, he should be doing, maybe, I don't know, maybe because he brings money to them. You know, Nigeria now, Nigerian politics is ruled by money. And some of these politicians, they'll say, we don't have hope for 2027. Let's just allow Wike to be bringing in money for us and all of that. It just showed me one thing that Nigerians need to learn. We need to have parties that have ideologies, not just personality-driven parties. Parties that we are driven by ideologies. Like now in the US, I know what the Republicans stand for. I know what the Democrats stand for. In UK, you know what the Labour Party stands for. You know what the Conservatives stand for. If I ask the ordinary Nigeria, what does PDP stand for? Nobody knows. They'll say, PDP power, APC, boom, we sweep Tinubu. The new ADC now that has come up, nobody knows what they stand for. Everybody is personality driven, and that's what causes this kind of. And when political parties are personality driven, the nation can move forward. Ideas are not being put in place to share ideas. Let these parties be idea driven. Oh, we want to run a capitalist system of government. We want to run a socio-economic. You know, all those kind of things. Those are what pushes. Those are things that pushes nations forward. Not this our personality-driven politics that we play here. We talk of Wike and Makinde. But
from one tussle to another.
From one tussle to another.
The political fight in Nigeria has left the advantage. In fact, we've left. How will I say this? We've left trying to fight for the seat to make a better Nigeria.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's what we're fighting for.
No.
It makes me want to ask questions like, are we still looking at a Nigeria in the future? So the future is already here. But are we still looking at a Nigeria that will be better tomorrow? Or we're fighting for another thing? Because the fight is now becoming very, very misunderstood by not just me, but I'm very sure it's even the whole Nigerians.
It's selfishness all around. Selfishness. You know, Nigerian leaders, we are just selfish. Nigerians are very intelligent people, but when it comes to collective intelligence, we seem to be... Nigerians are intelligent only for themselves. How do I survive? How do I pack money? How do I steal? Nigerians are the best in stealing, in packing, in corruption. Very intelligent in all these things. But as a collective, we've not been able to use our intelligence to solve collective problems, you know. And that's the problem. And one of the issues is our political parties are still personality-driven. They are not ideas-driven. Our major political parties, that is, I don't know of the minor parties.
Minor parties, right?
Yes.
Okay, beneath it, we see that the TICAD9, Japanese MP, pledges $5.5 billion support for Nigeria, as well as other African countries. We see that in full news, we see that in Japan, the TICAD9 Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba announces a $5.5 billion support package for Africa through a collaborative framework with the African Democratic Bank, aiming to boost private sector-led growth, youth and women empowerment, and regional integration. He highlighted the African young population as a major opportunity for industrial and economic development, while noting Japan's domestic challenges like declining population and shrinking agricultural land. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emphasized the Nigerian commitment to peace and stability and economic reforms, and also praised the army forces in their success against the insurgency and the stress addressing the root causes of insecurity in Nigeria. Tinubu also called for a greater Africa representation in the UN Security Council and urged technology to be used for peaceful collaboration, not diversion. Actually understand where the president is coming from. I think that's what we're just talking about, but not from the technology aspect. And we say we have a lot embedded in us, but we just see that we're using it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
The knowledge we have that has been given to us, and funny enough, if you look at it well, we have a lot. Apart from resources that Africa as a whole has, apart from every other things we can see or tangible things we could touch, when it comes to being educated, being able to comprehend fast, being able to assimilate, being able to put it into action, we can give it to Africans.
Yeah.
And that's why we see African doctors, or let me say other spares, actually go out and make good for themselves. Now we have all of this, but the issue, like we've been hitting on, is that we use it for the wrong reasons. And here, President Tinubu was trying to say the fact that Japan has looked into our country or Africa as a whole shows that they've showed an interest. But we must also try our best not to use that interest for our own personal gain, but also see the broader picture that Japan is seeing. Because for Japan not to focus on one particular country or one particular state in a country or one particular person, it shows that they have a broader vision for Nigeria and also Africa at large. But for us now, the president is trying to say we ourselves, we must also come into that shoe where we would also see that bigger picture that Japan is seeing.
Yes.
For this whole, let's say, collaboration to be possible and successive. I think that was one of the collaborations that happened yesterday. If a post on Facebook came out, I think on that, I've forgotten who donated yesterday to Nigeria. I've forgotten what particular country that came out to donate to Nigeria. And the person said, hope corruption will not slaughter the donation before it gets to the final user or the final the final place that was supposed to be invested. Hope corruption will not start slaughter, because that's the truth. When it gets to me, I can remove my own. Then somebody under me, I give to the person decides before it gets to the person under him, removes. Before it gets to the final person, the user, you just find out that it's so little to be used and ineffective. That the way it's supposed to show when the first person gave that money, the idea towards it gets ineffective when it gets to the last user.
Yes, it's a good one from Japan, saying that they want to invest in African countries. But like the concerns you've raised, President Tinubu can come out and speak good and say the right words and say it all starts from the leaders, really. It's not, the monies don't come to my pocket directly. It goes to them.
First.
It goes to them. It's them that will now use the resources that has been given to them to better our lives. But if it reaches President Tinubu and his ministers, what do they then do with these monies that have been gotten from Japan? Do they use it to improve our lives, or do they use it for their own selfish benefit? Do they pocket the money? You see, a lot of Nigerians have received a lot of aid. Africa has been called, yes, Africa is being called the aid continent because everybody gives us aid. But what do our leaders use the money for? And it all starts from our leaders, So President Tinubu can say, let us look inward, but it starts from them. What are they doing with the monies that has been given to them? The money Japan is giving, is it $5.something billion now to $5.5 billion to a lot of African nations. You will see now that 5.5 billion within the next year again. We don't know, no accountability. We can't account for the money. The tech that they say they will use it to do, you will see they won't use it to do it again. They will use it to do other things. Maybe they will even divert the funds for someone's wedding or for, Nigerian politicians are very, very, but we just hope, hopefully, President Tinubu is not just someone that speaks. Let him be someone that also takes action. And let him not say that we need to, let him not just talk that Nigerians need to look inward and all that. Let they themselves, we elected them as leaders. They are the ones to lead us. They are the ones to look inwards, look at what we have and say, look, this is what we are going to use these funds for.
But with this that he has said, we trust that the president is very keen to looking at the broader picture of what Japan wants.
Yes.
Beyond corruption or beyond selfish interest.
Hopefully.
We believe.
Hopefully.
But the truth about the matter is, even looking at this particular news, I see that even if the president decides to take this decision and the ministers are not in alignment with it, or the ministers are in alignment, then the people after the ministers that the money gets to, because this money, we just know that it's been from one person to another person. There are so many people that be involved, so many people's hand that be involved in this. Can one person, if one person decides to stand and now still be corrupt, we will still see that there's a problem. But can everybody now decide that, okay, inside this particular innovation, or with this new reform that has come, we don't want to be corrupt. We want to leave corruption out of it and help ourselves as a country.
Yes, you see, everything is about implementation. So the president doesn't need to be the last person to get this allocation. But I mean, you are there's also a Grand Commander, Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's a huge title. You are the grand commander. That you are not just a commander, you are a grand commander. That means you give a directive to your ministers. Your ministers should follow up on whoever. That's why you are the president, on whoever is handling the monies. And you make sure that they execute it to perfection. Anybody that is messing up, that's why you can hire and fire. You fire them. Ministers, you fire your ministers. If it's a PAMSEC, you remove him from there. If he's a director, if he's an assistant director, if he's a deputy director, you remove him, you query him. That's why you are the president. You ensure that this money is being used. There was a president that said, an American president that said, at the end of the day, the buck stops at his table. If Nigeria doesn't work today, if our economy doesn't work, if the tech space does, is the president who hold responsible. We are not going to hold anybody, one assistant director somewhere, maybe he stole millions and all of that. At the end of the day, Japan has given us money, they've done their part, they've gone. You get, what are you doing with this? And I always used to say, Nigeria needs to move, we are the giants of Africa, we need to move from even seeking for aid. I mean, we are too big. We are bigger than that, 230 million people with a lot of resources. We are bigger than just seeking for aid, getting aid and all of that. We should begin to give aid. Yes, we need to start giving aid to people. We need to start giving aid to people in billions of dollars as well. Look for other smaller African countries, look for Asian countries, look at Japan's prime minister. He called African leaders, like 6 or 7, will go and meet him and say, oh, we need money. Nigeria too needs to start pulling weight like that, rather than us just seeking for aid and collecting
being able to give. Okay, I understand you. Anyway, it still boils down, like you said, to the president. Accountability is very necessary in this particular situation. Let your ministers or the people after the ministers be accountable. Everybody must be accountable for this particular reform that has come out, this particular innovation. That's what we're telling our president. As Nigerian citizens, let there be accountability so that it doesn't also pursue these investors from our country. Seeing that they keep investing and there's no proper use of their investments, it pursues people or it makes people to leave or not want to invest again. So let there be a proper accountability done to this particular situation. You know, I'm trying to move. I don't want to go into this particular news, down to our sports. After all the mouth, I forgive you people. The Tigers, I forgive you from my heart. I forgive you. I understand that it was a tough battle, but I forgive you. But we saw you. I'm very sure you watched the match.
I watched the match yesterday. We first quarter was very close. I think it was very, very close. But second quarter and third quarter, the Senegalese in fact, they pummeled us.
I think in
Nigeria, they pummeled us. In the fourth quarter, we were even trying to. We were slaughtered in that game. They were just simply better than us. They were better than us. I watched that game on YouTube, and it was just. I watched it from a Senegalese site, and they were just speaking in French. Oh, Terenga, Senegal. Oh, they were not singing. They were very happy, the Senegalese, but the Nigerians are just. And it's a revenge for them. You know, our female Tigers beat them in the semi-final on our way to. So they were very excited.
Comments flowing from Facebook. Trust Nigerians, always out there to comment. Somebody was even thanking God that he actually did not bet on them. Another person came out to say, it's like this is a revenge, just like you said, because of our women came after their women. And their men have decided that we will revenge for you.
And they revenge
because
they pummeled. In fact, there was a time in the third quarter where I was in the fourth quarter where we made 9 straight points, three points baskets, and I was like, oh, we are coming. They just finished us. I just said, let me even switch to another channel.
I don't think I want to watch that match. I'm not watching, but I don't think I want to go back to watch that match.
We were soundly beaten.
Oh.
We were beaten.
It just still shows that between the tiger and the lions, there's always
the tigers will rise again.
We will.
We'll become the king of the jungle soon.
We'll give them another chance. But before then, we still tell you we are still proud of you, like I said, and I forgive you from my heart, personally. Okay, we'll be moving to our next newspaper front page, the Vanguard newspaper, where we see that the assault on NYSC member Soludo sacks vigilante operatives. This particular news has been going on for the past 2 days.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw a video of the first one where she was being beaten by the vigilantes. This lady was stripped naked, and this is the one we saw on about the Emerson's video that she also was stripped naked. But in this lady's situation, it's a different kind of situation. She was beaten. She was purposely beaten and stripped naked.
I mean, look at the assault that is being done to a
human, and it's a for the fact that it's a uniformed person, not a normal citizen. You know, it just shows that the power handed into our uniform guys out there is not being used well properly.
Yes, you know, we usually call NYSC people government speaking.
Yes,
and they are usually being taken care of, treated as special because you are serving the government. NYSC means it's not a system whereby you are owned by the government for that period of time. You get? It's not that you are on your own working. NYSC means that, look, for the 1 year, instead of you going out to look for a job, work for us as the government of Nigeria. Let us take good care of you. And to see that this kind of embarrassment, no matter what she did, in fact, even if there's this mentality, yes, there's this mentality that Nigerians have. In my area one time, I saw some people just ganging up against someone and doing jungle justice. Nigeria as a society, we need to grow up. As a lawyer, it pains me that jungle justice is still prevalent in Nigeria. I mean, no matter what, and let them take her to court. This one, they were beating her. The point that is men that are doing this to a female. Men that are supposed to protect women. Men that are supposed to guide and shield women. See what they are doing. Who is just an NYC? They should be arrested. After the court, they should be found guilty. I want to be the judge. Like they should be found guilty. And they should be sentenced to jail because they can't be doing this. It's a big assault. This is the one we caught, we were able to catch live, that it was video. What of those that were not videoed? So it just goes to show it's no matter the kind of offense she committed, no matter the crime she did, she doesn't deserve that. No human being deserves that kind of dehumanization.
Even if she actually committed the crime, nobody will be able to see her crime. If this particular with this particular situation, nobody will want to even look at her crime again. They are now looking at what, and that's why we must be careful to always treat every crime with proper justice.
Yes.
But I think, like you said, the jungle justice in Nigeria.
Nigerians have a mentality of, you know, you've not even seen, maybe. There are some people, I remember the Alu 5 kilo, is it Alu 5? Yes, Alu 5, the one that happened in River State. And I remember there was one time in Apoye, this Apoye in Abuja, where they just caught some people, called them criminals and burnt them alive. After they burnt them alive, it was discovered that they were not guilty of what they committed. You know, we are talking about jungle justice, and justice is also a process. Justice follows a process. The law says that everybody is
subjected under.
No, everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So even if you catch someone with a gun pointing at you, the person is presumed innocent before the court of law. So you don't just go and use your own and use your emotions and say, I caught this person stealing. What if the person you caught is actually not the person that did it, you know? So jungle justice needs to stop in Nigeria, and we need to educate our citizenry as to how justice, and this one they are vigilante or security operatives.
That's what I'm saying. The ones that are supposed to even be guarding, the least people that are supposed to be guarding, at least when they see this kind of thing, they are the ones that are supposed to say no to it.
I mean, if these are our security operatives, then imagine
what the citizens will be doing. Anyway, but in response, Governor Chukwuwama Soludo's administration dismissed the operative and covered the victims' medical bills, and also replaced her damaged items, and issued a public apology to be given to her. They are also to be handed over to the police for persecution. Wow, prominent voices like Senator Ede has condemned the attack, describing it as a barbaric and inhuman, and also called for both immediate persecution and stronger measures to protect corps members.
Because some people have been insinuating readiness to be fair to everybody. We are going to take them now, with or without the girl and members of our family. We are going to take them to the police and hand them over to the police. That is what we are what we are about doing now. And this is the essence of bringing them out so that everybody will see them. We are not shielding anybody. Because some people have been insinuating, oh, somebody is trying to sweep this under the carpet. And I said, in further demonstration that is not what we are doing. There is no scapegoats in what we are doing. And the governor of Anambra said, Mr. Governor Chukwuma Soludo is not interested.
If you see the way criminals are treated in Western world, there's a comedian that said to be a criminal, they shark you. They don't dehumanize their criminals. But here in Nigeria, even our human beings, see the way we do. But it's a good one from the Anambra State governor. It's a good one. That our medical bills are being taken care of, and the people that did it is being that are being prosecuted by the law. It's a good one.
It's a good one, but let's try to put a stop to it, just like we've been saying.
Yes.
Let's put a full stop to this whole problem and issue we keep seeing, especially when it concerns women as a whole. When it concerns women, it's another thing on the other side. If it was a man if this thing was done to a man, we might not look at it to this extent. But the fact that this has happened, this is not the first time. People on social media, most Nigerians on social media are trying to link it with Emerson. This is how she too was beaten by airport operatives. This is how this one too is being beaten. Is it that they take advantage of women, and women are now coming out to actually call for rights? Is it that women in Nigeria...
The thing is, we are in a patriarchal society in Nigeria. Whenever women begin to raise their voices, that's my own assumption. When women begin to raise their voices or begin to stand for their, say, why woman will they talk like this in quotes? Why will a woman talk like this? And a woman is not supposed to be stubborn. She's supposed to behave in a certain way, in a feminine. That's the Nigerian belief of most. If you will see some other women will be saying, and a woman she be, why is she shouting like this? Why is she speaking like this? Probably that's the reason why you see.
That's why
yes, you see some arguments. They will say instead of this, I've seen arguments where maybe car crashes into maybe a female's car. The man will come out and say, "Please, I don't want to speak to you. Go and call your husband. Let me speak to you."
Yes, I've seen situations like that. I think the whole gender issue we're facing in the country, like you said, Nigeria, that's our mentality, and we must be able to come out of it. I think that's what we're talking about in our last segment, that our mindset also has a big role to play in all of these things. We must be able to change our mindset, what we think and how we think as Nigerians. So if our medical system will be taking care of our health, we should also try to take care of our mind. Most of these people, according to it's not everybody you see in the street that is normal. Especially when it comes to Nigeria. It's not everybody in Nigeria that is normal, and that's just the truth about the whole matter. But anyway, let's go into our last news, and it's also a tech news. We see that big investors ditch tech ahead of expected September stock slump. The US tech stock like Nvidia and others have been booming thanks to the excitement about AI. But now some investors are worried and might have to gone up too fast. That this whole thing has gone up too fast. But we can understand from their own point of view. We can actually do and understand from their point of view, because as a businessman, when you notice that, in fact, anything that rises would always come back. That's the law of gravity. Anything that goes up will come down. And it's a normal law that we've seen play in different sectors and different cases. Now, this has happened before. With my research, I see that this particular this thing has happened before. When it comes to the dot-com bubble in late 90s to 200, we saw that the tech stock, especially the internet companies, were scared of investors that rushed in, and it went up and it came down, it crashed and all of that. And now investors are still worried that the way things are going so fast, going up, they are now beginning to so that they can still have profits from this investment they've made.
Yes, so I remember yesterday I checked my investment app. I checked my investment app and I saw that some of these stocks have really gone down. Nvidia, it was like taking a battery, and I was wondering what was going on, because at the beginning of this year, so to the mid of this year, tech stocks were just booming, they were going high and all of that. So I was wondering what caused this, this whole slaughtering of tech stocks and all of that. But like the news just gave out, investors are worried that this boom it might not last long. Let us remove our money and, you know.
Yes.
I know, so we are waiting for the Reserve Chair, the Federal Reserve Chair of the US to give his speech. Probably that will boost our morale too, to know what to do next, because nobody wants to lose money. Everybody wants their money. Those that have invested in stocks, invested in stocks, especially tech stocks, will be watching out, so that they'll see maybe should I buy, should I sell, should I add more to the stocks that I currently have. But you know, a good stock trader will always be watching the news. Will always be watching out for when to invest and when not to invest. So those that are into stocks should just beware. At least follow the speech of the Federal Reserve Chair. Also our own CBN here. Let's know what they are doing so that we are also protected here in Nigeria.
Yes. Okay. In other news, in the front page of Vanguard, we see that Katsina massacre death tolls rises to 50. We also see beside it in page 48 that NCC to governors waive or reduce 145 road fees. We also see the big headline that anger over planned pay rise for political office holders. I don't know, they've not settled this issue.
No, they've not settled it. The government is still adamant that they want to increase the salaries of political office holders. But you know, like we said yesterday, the opposition against it is very strong. It's coming at a very, very wrong time. I mean, Nigerians are suffering. People are getting poorer by the day, and what you can think of is to increase the salaries of the president of Nigeria. What is he going? Nigeria is a funny country, because why are you increasing his salary? Because everything is being taken care of by we the people. Where his feeding doesn't come from his salary. It's the state that basically takes care of him. The ministers is the state that basically takes care of them. So why are you increasing their salary? What for? Is it just for semantics, or you just want to do eye service, or I don't know?
Issues. I think we like stalling issues. There should be proper investigation, assessment, and people should come and sit down and talk about this so that we will stop stalling issues. Issues lingering from 1 week. You see it in newspaper headline the next week. It just looks like we are being adamant to resolving issues. If anything you want to say. When I said something, like you said yesterday, whatever he says or decides to do, he will do it. So we should also consider people who are talking about it, and consider what people are saying to see if what they are saying is valid. Are these valid points? Are these things that people are saying, are they okay for now? They are saying now this is not what we are looking for. Increasement of these people's salary is not what we are looking for. We are looking for how to get things better, how to solve the problem on our table. We've not finished solving that problem. We are trying to increase, and we are still borrowing. Inside the fact that we are borrowing, so where are they getting the money that they are using to increase? Please, let's stop lingering issues. We also see that Rep summoned 11 discos over 2.6 trillion debt owed government in page 8. The House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee has summoned 11 electricity distribution companies, discos, to explain an outstanding debt of 2.6 trillion naira owed to the Federation accounts. This summons follows a review of the 2021 Auditor General's report, which highlighted significant liabilities and irregularities in the power sector, including uncollected debts, shortfalls and institutional charges, and payment for undelivered electricity. I think I'll just leave this to you.
So the discos that have not paid monies back to the federal government, I'm wondering how they are able to even run themselves or run their companies without paying back, owing the federal government. I mean, we are still suffering electricity. I remember the privatization sector, when Goodluck Jonathan privatized the electricity sector, and discos came about, private companies came about, and they bought some of these electricity distribution lines and all of that. We were thinking, oh, this is a good thing. Our power sector is going to improve. Electricity is going to improve. I remember I was a strong advocate for the private sector entering the electricity sector because like the telecom sector, when it was just Nitel, we weren't really enjoying telecommunications. But when it became MTN, Nine Mobile, Airtel, Glo, when they came about, we saw that the telecom sector boomed. So I was thinking that this is what will happen to in the electricity sector, that when private investors come that will be able to have better electricity and all of that. The discos, the distribution companies will be able to make our electricity better. But the story is not, we are still stuck in our rotten past like we used to do. So the discos owing, is it 2 trillion?
2.6 trillion.
2.6 trillion naira. I mean, that's huge. That's a huge amount, and it's shame on these distribution companies. That means they've not been, either the distribution companies, the people, the private investors that got this job or got this distribution channels, either they were not capable, either they were just given to maybe family and friends, or there is something, maybe the government did not help them, or maybe they had like serious challenges. But for them to be owing 2 point something trillion, that means they have not made money from their investments, or maybe they've channeled their profits into other maybe investments and all of that. I don't know the problem, but for them to be owing the Nigerian federal government that kind of amount is huge. To me, if I'm to close down these discos, get other investors to buy them out, let them take over, people that can really do the job. Because the government selling these discos to you, selling these channels to you, is a means for them to also generate money. You tax Nigerians their electricity bill. After taxing them, you provide them electricity. You also pay to the government. You pay to the government, you boost the revenue of the government as well. But from this report now, it shows that they've not been doing their jobs. It shows that because electricity we are not seeing. We are still stuck at 5,000 or something megawatts and all of that. So they've not been doing their jobs. They've not been giving the government's revenue. They've not also been generating power. So what's their essence? What's their use? Other private investors should come out and take over from these discos and let us see what they will do for us.
According to a Nigerian on Facebook, now we still give light to other countries. Now still we no get the light. And like you said, it's a problem. So in other news, we see that 2027 Tinubu re-election done deal, says Tunji Ojo, for someone to come out and even say that Tinubu's re-election is a done deal. Let's not, I was trying my best not to be political here, but because to so many people, Tinubu has won 2027.
Yeah, to his
all
supporters.
These ADCs and the rest, they're just there to fill in the gap of opposition party. That's just that gap of opposition party. But because I feel like most of them have even lost faith that they might. There's only some few people now that are still upholding that faith. From one fight to another fight, even inside the political opposition parties, you still see that they're fighting amongst themselves. And the whole thing is just looking like somebody just sits one place and tell you that this particular person would win the election. And the person would win the election. But like I said, let's not go political. So we've come to a close of our newspaper review on Idea Television, and we looked into different tech stories, the Microsoft tech stories, as well as the hacking of the FBI agreement to actually resolve the hacking problem of Russia into U.S. companies. We also looked at different headlines on our Vanguard and Punch newspaper. And to crown it all up, we just say let there be consistency in everything we do, and let's our work or our efforts have a good reflect on anything we are actually doing as Nigerians, and also to our government at large. And to close it, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For making yourself present in this newspaper review. You know, I always say it, your presence here cannot be overemphasized.
Yes,
thank you very much for coming. And thank you to all our viewers that stayed glued to their screen. Do stay glued to your screen even as we bring you more innovative programs after now. And follow us on all our social media platforms on Idea Television. I am Jacob Deborah, and like I would always say, stay informed, stay safe. Bye for now.